Ladies and gents, welcome back. Had I told you 2 years ago that there would be Chinese communist police stations on Canadian soil, you would have told me to take a hike. But now, today in 2023, this is just par for the course. And of course, now we actually have some sort of action going from our government. The RCMP is actually moving to shut some of these down. This from CBC News. RCMP says it has shut down illegal police activity connected to alleged Chinese police stations. The RCMP said it has shut down illegal police activity in Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia connected to so-called Chinese police stations, but it hasn't said whether it has made any arrests. In April, Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino told a parliamentary committee the Federal Police Services had taken decisive action to close down the alleged stations, to which he would, pretended that he had no idea what everybody was talking about, because this actually broke in the news. This, of course, these ministers in our government were privy to this intelligence from CSIS, but they did nothing about it. Like we are learning about all the things that they did nothing about with Chinese interference in our elections, in our government. Threats made at MPs, sitting MPs, and their families. But hey, as soon as the news started reporting on it, Marco Mendicino, the public safety minister, decided he was going to do something about it. According to the Spain-based human rights watchdog group Safeguard Defenders, more than 100 such facilities existed worldwide in more than 150 countries. Safeguard Defenders claim the stations serve to monitor Chinese nationals and persuade those suspected of committing crimes to return to China to face prosecutions. I reported on this at the time, actually. Here's a tweet that I shared out at the time. This is from September 12th, 2022. Here we are all the way almost a year later, and they're finally doing something about it. Our newest investigation out today, back in 2022, comes with 5 major revelations regarding China's global policing and transnational repression. Sorry, my bad. A new law adopted the 2nd of September in 2022 established a full extraterritoriality over Chinese and foreigners globally for certain crimes. Well, what certain crimes? Are these international crimes? No, these are Chinese crimes from Chinese soil, but being policed globally. And this is egregious. The Chinese embassy denies those claims, saying that the stations are meant to provide Chinese nationals with assistance, like renewing their driver's licenses in foreign countries. These are things that embassies do. You don't have to go to a special police force that is secret to the Canadian taxpayers, and maybe not to the Canadian government in this situation. This is another article from the Post Millennial from back then. Trudeau government allows China to open police stations in Canada to monitor Chinese nationals, as well as foreigners, as they say. Foreigners to China would be Canadians in Canada. On September 12th, human rights watchdog Safeguard Defenders published their latest report on the phenomena of Chinese transnational policing. The group revealed that over the past year, China had set up dozens of overseas service stations in order to police the Chinese nationals living abroad, including 3 such facilities in Toronto. According to the report, Beijing has been attempted to combat the growing issues of fraud and telecommunication by Chinese nationals living abroad, with 230,000 being persuaded to return to China to face criminal charges between April 21st and 2022 alone. And of course, this comes with threats to their families that still live in China, the ones that weren't able to escape communism quite just yet, but the Chinese government was actually able to persuade people to go back and face prosecution under duress, is what we would assume in this situation, because here we are today, and the leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre, is talking about specifically these situations.
The Prime Minister has been aware of many of these facts for a very long time and yet chose to do nothing. His defense is that he knew nothing. Well, if he knew nothing, he is not getting the basic information from his intelligence forces, then it indicates that he is incompetent and incapable of protecting our homeland, Madam Speaker. And worst of all, the people who are the greatest victims of this are Canadians of Chinese origin, who've come here to build this country, who come here to escape tyranny and embrace freedom, who follow the law and contribute to our country every day and in every way. And yet, their government in this country has done nothing to protect them from the government in the country they left behind. We have the stories told to members of Parliament in our caucus who went on doorsteps during campaigns to meet people who were in tears, people who told them that they had to leave the doorstep and go to a faraway field somewhere with their phones left behind because they were worried they were being tracked by a foreign government, worried that their families could be harmed, worried that acts of intimidation or even violence could happen to them here on Canadian soil. And still, the government has not set up a foreign influence registry that could help us identify the thugs that carry out this intimidation. Still, this government has refused to bring in tougher laws to shut down all foreign-controlled police stations. And still, this Prime Minister has failed to call the public inquiry that is required. We call on the NDP to set a condition that if there is no public inquiry, that the NDP will break the coalition and stand up for Canada and Canadians for once.
Well, we all know how that went, but with political pressure and public pressure from the general populace, the RCMP is actually starting to do something about this. The RCMP initially reported it was probing alleged police stations in Greater Toronto area last fall. In mid-March, it announced that it was also looking into reports of stations operating in Vancouver and investigating 2 Montreal area groups. Service à la famille Chinois de Grande Montréal and Centre Sino-Quebec de la Rive Sud, which reportedly have served as resource centers for members of the Chinese community for decades, said they have cooperated with the RCMP investigating and no police action has been taken against them. In a statement to the CBC News, the RCMP said that some of the activity it's investigating is occurring at locations where other legitimate services to Chinese communities are being offered, like showing people how to get a driver's license. Come on, this is not a thing. On Thursday, the Prime Minister's National Security and Intelligence Office advisor, Jody Thomas, was questioned about the alleged stations while speaking before the Standing Committee on Procedure and House Affairs. Now, this is the same one that Blacklock reporter was reporting on today. National Security Advisor Jody Thomas says she missed the secret memo warning China agents were targeting Conservative MPs because she was on vacation. Oh no, she just in the Bahamas, or somewhere else, just on vacation, sipping on wines. Sorry, missed the memo. I totally missed it. I don't have any other means of getting this information to me. Sorry, I don't have a staff that might catch that. Unbelievable. This is the excuses that we're getting from these people. But she does have a keen eye in other places. Here she was, Friday, November 18th, 2022. Tweets prompted emergency. Jody Thomas, National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister, yesterday pointed to protesters' tweets and justifying her claim that the Freedom Convoy was a threat to national interests. Thomas was appointed as a $306,000 a year security advisor last January 11th, just 2 weeks before the protesters arrived on Parliament Hill. It's a threat to democracy, she said. Oh, how convenient that she wasn't on vacation at that time. But hey, well, we'll just leave that one up to you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this whole thing with actual Chinese Communist Party police stations active in our country on Canadian soil. I know the RCMP is moving now to make some action against them, but this is largely after public outcry and political pressure. This is unbelievable. But hey, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we will see you tonight in the live stream. Hey, come join us live. We'll be having a panel of great guests, and we'll be talking about some important things that have been happening this week, of course, in Canada and around the world. And of course, we'll see you then, or we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.